Hi, Eepsit. So thank you so much for agreeing to walk us through again in the second video, which we're going to talk a little bit, or you actually are going to share with us a little bit more about what are some of the metrics and insights that Affable gives us, and to look out for when we are working with bigger influencers that have a greater follower count of maybe more than 100,000 to probably somewhere between whether 500,000 is too much to look out for. I'll let you walk us through Affable and what are some of the key considerations we should look out for if we are looking to work with macro influencers like that.
Hi Shaman, thanks so much and glad to be here. So I guess even as we discussed earlier in last video as well, the first consideration while you're choosing influencer is for any brand, if it be it a smaller brand or a bigger company or bigger brand, the first consideration would be like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing influencer marketing, or why are you choosing a particular influencer? And that's where, if you have that figured out, then it becomes very important to understand, okay, what kind of content is being posted by those influencers. Again, content is very, very crucial to any campaign, because that is that visual appeal that they create, right?
Yes.
And other than that, then what kind of audience is there? So let's have a look on like some of the most famous influencers in Singapore.
Yeah.
So if you can see, like this is our dashboard, and by default, maybe I'll just quickly walk you through what the dashboard looks like and what it can do before we jump into more details about the profiles.
Yes.
So this is the discovery component. In general, Affable has three major parts. One is influencer discovery, where based on influencer persona and their audience persona, you can shortlist and find most relevant influencer for your requirements. Second component is how do you shortlist them, how do you reach out to them, manage your conversations, and all of these logistic part. And the last component is how do you find the content being posted on social media, sponsored, non-sponsored content, or content for any particular campaign, and then how do you measure results, or whether that particular campaign is performing well for you, or whether that particular influencer is performing well for you. So this is how Affable helps you end to end. This is a discovery component. On the left, you have like some basic parameters. You can put in these filters, and then you have your basic shortlist of influencers. Now let's quickly have a deeper look into, let's say, for Jian Hao. So he is a famous YouTuber, and you just have to click on his profile to open it. From here, you can just see a basic detail about his profile. He has around 630,000 followers. And if you look into that, so you see on the left, there's basic information, profile information, top 3 interests. Now these interests are defined based on the content they are posting. In Affable, like by default, our focus is towards identifying like audience specific insights as well as content specific insights. So all these top 3 interests are based on the content that they are posting. So you can see some recent content, and the system basically identifies their tags, their images with babies, the campaigns, all of that. And based on that, okay, parenting is one of the top interests. Right, then you can go and look for the audience demographics. So age distribution, as you know, his channel is mostly targeted towards gaming and appealing to younger audience. So and it is evident from here, like from like 0 to 18 or 19 25, that's the like biggest audience base that he has. Pretty much equal distribution in terms of gender, and this is again very interesting. 38, which is the majority part of his audience, is coming from Malaysia.
Yep.
And second is Singapore.
Yep.
But Singapore and Malaysia combined makes the majority of audience.
60 over percent.
Yeah. Then basically you can look at the engagements. Again, he has pretty good engagement, 30,000 likes per post on an average. And our system also analyze like similar influencers and how they perform in terms of engagement. So as compared to 4.32%, he has pretty good average engagement. And also in terms of audience quality, it is not very good, but in terms of the normal norms on social media, he has pretty good quality. We can say that.
Yeah.
right? Quickly checking on this influencer's brand affinity. So here you can get to see in last 2 years, 24 to 30 months, which are the brands that he has posted about or mentioned about. So Domino's Pizza, and if you see 2 months back, he has mentioned Domino's Pizza in his post, or a year back he has done a sponsored post. So this is very interesting to see like what that post was. So we just click on that post and you can see, okay, this was the post, this was his caption, he has mentioned Domino's, and I guess this is a paid partnership. So this way basically it helps you in quickly see what kind of brands that any particular influencer is working with, and like check their content, what kind of content they're posting.
And this is quite interesting. I mean, if we just go back, above about Domino's, I think it's for a brand to also understand that, oh, they have mentioned me. Like, let's look at the Manna Pot Catering. I believe there's no sponsored. Yeah. So he has been mentioning about you, and it might be good for a brand to consider working with someone who has been using your brand or dining at your restaurant.
Right, and actually we have observed many of such cases where let's say local food outlets or restaurants, they basically invite influencers or celebrities, just like they offer them a free meal, maybe ask them to write a review, or otherwise just invite them. And they invite radio jockeys, they invite these people who have good public connection, and
Right.
that just gives them the eyeballs. And again, based on the nature of the business,
Right.
it makes sense to like strategize how you want to do that.
Right.
So it's not always necessary to pay huge amounts to just ask them to write about you, but sometimes a small gesture of like sending them a good bouquet or maybe some kind of a food package.
Right, and they feature you, in return.
And if they're happy, they'll just mention you in their post. Okay, I just got this beautiful bouquet
Right.
from a brand or something like that.
Right. And that's not considered sponsored, right?
That's not considered a sponsor. It's just a like exchange of information.
Right.
Yeah. So moving on. So what also Affable helps you understand is how their followers have grown over time. Now this becomes very useful insight to understand. Again, how they are acquiring audience is a very good indicator of like what kind of activities they are having. Right, there are some cases of like purchased content, purchased engagement, all of that going around, or maybe bad publicity, all those things. So basically with this graph, if it is smooth, which is there like in his particular case, this pretty much shows, okay, he has pretty organic audience and followers growth, right? But if we just look at this particular instance, where in this case and this case, within a span of 1 week,
1 week,
he has grown over 30,000 followers.
Right.
Now, again, this can be attributed in different sense. One could be like this particular person was featured into a magazine or a television show or some kind of media, right? Or maybe with some influencers, they might have maybe engaged some kind of purchased tactics or something like that.
Yeah.
Again, just with this graph, you have an indicator. Okay, go to this particular timeline and see what happened in their lives, what happened in their profile, and it gives you just an indicator to just have a double check.
Just to try and make sense if you are able to. But there are some jumps that would be difficult to I mean, just by looking at it. Even if they are featured, I think if it jumps in a week by 100,000, it might be hard to justify whether or not. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the same thing for engagement timelines. You can track engagements, you can see posts, you can just click on here and you can get to see the post. Okay, which post got maximum engagement and what was it. So here he's maybe mentioning about his personal life. So it's always like, and how it helps is like within, so you don't need to just scroll down like hundreds of posts on Instagram.
Yes.
You can just go by timeline, just check a particular trend and just click on that and get to that post.
Yeah.
So that's where Affable basically helps you save a lot of time and energy and resources, where like you can do weeks of work within a couple of hours.
Yes.
Planning a campaign. The other interesting part is understanding brand saturation for a particular influencer, and for him, it is a very good balance between organic and branded posts.
Yeah.
Right. So last 3 months, let's say an influencer having like 95% of branded content.
Yeah.
What we have observed is over the period of time, their engagement numbers they go down.
Right.
Right. So typically, that is again one of our suggestions where you should be looking for a balanced brand saturation distribution. For in that case, like he has a very good distribution in that sense.
Yes.
Right. Next is audience interest distribution. It is always good to know what are the different kind of audience any particular influencer has. And here we give you the distribution that, okay, other than parenting, fashion, accessories, and entertainment, he has a very specific subcategory as fashion, where like 84% of his audience follow that. So not only gaming related or entertainment related, but also fashion related post or fashion related the segments where audience are interested, and he has a lot of followers in that.
Right, that's really interesting because actually he's a gamer from YouTube that I think he probably brought most of his followers from YouTube over. So it's interesting to see that it's fashion.
Yes. And might be it is possible that he is himself like he keeps on wearing these nice outfits.
Yeah, probably.
About that, some brands. Maybe people would be following his fashion sense.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, possible.
And next, we also like for some famous influencer, for celebrity macro level influencers, we track their presence on news. So if they have featured anywhere, so there is this article in Marketing Interactive which has mentioned Jianhao, right? So now following, you can go through these articles and also know more about their like online presence.
Right, whether they have good press or bad press.
So featured. We have some of the cases. I guess we can take an example of Melissa Ko, I guess.
Yeah. She was featured due to, actually she has been featured in quite a number of bad presses. I think she was also featured not only in the wedding bad press that happened because I think people were just upset that a lot of things at her wedding was sponsored.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And I think she was probably involved in another one. Yeah.
I guess this is the one that you were speaking about.
Yes,
Shama.
This one, and the second one is actually specifically about the wedding incident. Yeah, so we can look at both. I think Cleo wrote about it a year ago, but actually her wedding happened some time ago.
So they I guess just listed down so they are just terming as scandals.
Yeah, they wrote actually they wrote it in 2018 September, so it's about a year plus lah.
Yeah. So here.
Yeah.
That particular.
Yeah. So it was about her wedding that was sponsored, and I think people were just upset. The guests were just upset that everything at the wedding was sponsored, and I think they came with red packets as well. So
right. So that's basically like in a nutshell, like this is how you can go through any profile. You can just check their content, post, check their audience, check their brand affinities, like check their engagement, their audience quality. So all within like 30-40 seconds, you can have an idea about any influencer. And then you can use these tools like shortlisting. You can create a new group. Okay, celebrities, right? And if you just click on create group and they are just shortlisted into that. So this is as simple as like shortlisting while you are researching. So it makes your life very easy.
Are we able to see what are some brands that they have worked with in the last few months?
Sure, definitely. You can. So again, by default, this is arranged based on the recency of the brand engagements. Sorry. So for Doody Singapore, like most recent post was 7 days back, and you can also sort these results based on alphabetical or most frequent. So now this is interesting. These are the brands that she's posting mostly about.
Right. And they are not sponsored.
Not sponsored, yeah.
Right.
So maybe these are the products that she's using on a daily basis.
Interesting.
Charles and Keith, she has done a sponsored post for them as well. Right, multiple posts actually.
Yeah, multiple. I think Mango will probably be sponsored. Yeah.
So basically you can sort through different results. You can also just look for only
Sponsored.
sponsored.
Right.
All the accounts where she has done sponsored posts would be listed down here. Visit Dubai, Reebok, Singapore. Yeah, she has done a lot of fashion, apparel related posts, I guess.
Yes.
Beauty, a lot of sponsored posts.
Yeah, quite a number. Yeah. And the next box on the right is audience brand affinity, meaning that her audience actually follow these brands.
Yeah, so these are the top 5 brands her audience follow.
Right.
Right. Again,
percentage. Wow, that's quite huge. Percentage of followers. That's about 12% of 200k. That's quite a big following.
Yeah, so it's like around 14% of around almost 250k.
Yeah, and the brand Love Bonito wasn't even mentioned on the her influence.
Yeah, she hasn't worked with
Yeah.
Love Bonito.
I think the rest of the brand, maybe the Closet Lover and the Tin.
I guess no, that's not also.
Yeah, interesting.
But
right.
This is that's why it becomes very interesting to know like what are their audience are following.
Right.
Right. So their audience are following these brands, and it's a majority of the audience basically.
Right.
Right, and then engagement number again, you see for her it is quite average. So on an average, she's getting around 3,000 likes, but that only translates to 1% engagement.
Yes.
While similar influencers, they are getting 4%. So again, in that comparison, it's not that good. So this is how like profile you can have like deeper insights for any particular influencer profile. Let's do some sample searches. Maybe look for food and beverage.
Yep.
As an example.
Yep.
So food and beverages. This is a major category, and you have different subcategories. So you can go by restaurant, salad, vegetarian food, all of that, right? And then you can define, okay, if you have any specific requirements around gender or maybe any particular brand that you're looking for, because and you can define, okay, let's say I'm searching for influencers above 200,000 followers to 1 million.
Probably no results.
No, there would be actually. There are 40 influencers.
Okay, right.
And it's Daniel Food Diary, so he looks like a food blogger.
Yes, he is.
Right, and Brad Love, Lady Iron Chef. She's a famous.
Is a he, but he used used the Lady Iron Chef. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, there's 3. I would say. Okay, yeah, there are more below. Yeah. Okay, so these are brands that have worked with. I mean, brands, F&B brands have worked with them, or they are interested in F&B.
So again, since this is based on interest, so most of their posts or most of their content would be around F&B.
Right. Okay.
Maybe they're writing reviews, or they're writing blogs, or they're just working with these brands in F&B sector.
Right.
So if we just look at this particular influencer, Daniel.
Yeah.
We just look at his content, and if you can just tell it by his DP.
Yeah.
Right, and if you see the recent media, it's all about food.
Yeah.
Right, so he has only interest. Again, our system has only identified his only interest as food.
Yes.
But if you go to some other influencers, and if you want to look at the brand affinities, so Kith Cafe, and if you look for sponsored, so he hasn't mentioned any sponsored posts. But you see, most of these are some restaurants, bars. 7 days back, Maxi Coffee Bar.
So it's interesting though, because I would assume that he has worked with some sponsored brands.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't mentioned via hashtags or tagging the sponsored brand.
He must have mentioned the brands, but not every influencer every time mentions that, okay, this is a paid partnership.
Right.
So it again depends on if an influencer wants to acknowledge, if they want to share with their audience, okay, if I am working on a paid partnership or a sponsored partnership with a brand.
Right.
So pretty much it's an individual decision in that sense. But whenever if they do, then definitely our system captures it. So we'll show it. Right. So this is how his profile looks. And other than that, you see, other than food, 63% of his audience is also following travel.
Right.
So that's again interesting. Maybe we can look into some other profiles where they have some different. So here Melissa Co is here.
Yeah. We
She
can look
also
at Sylvia or the Mong Chin Yo.
sorry, which one?
Just below Sylvia Chan or yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, she owns this YouTube channel with her husband, Night Hours Cinematics, and they work with big brands like Air Asia. They have their own food channel. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, and basically they come up with a lot of long form YouTube contents and
Right.
work with really big brands.
And that basically aligns with our system's analysis about her profile.
Yeah.
That her major interests are food, fashion, and beauty, because she might be also posting about or mentioning these brands or these kind of beauty or fashion related content. Yeah. Again, if you want to have a look at brands, then in terms of sponsored, yeah, most of the food, KFC Singapore 2 months back, Don Don Donkey, a mixture of brands actually. in different segments.
She has a big mix of different brands. Some government agencies also do work with her.
So I guess again depends on what the requirement is, how specific you want to get as a brand, or how generic you want to get in terms of followers or influencers' interest.
Yeah. So I think we'll just summarize a little bit, like when working with big influencers who have bigger than 100,000 followers, is to look at their audience quality, right? So if we want to reach out to, say, for example, just people in the age group of, let's say, for example, right, a tuition center comes and she says like, the boss actually wants to work with Sylvia, and they can actually put in the values of the age group, right? Either by assumption they want to reach out to students, or by assumption they want to reach out to the parents of the students. So they can define the age groups and interests accordingly into Affable. And they can decide for themselves how big a percentage of this following that she has are their targeted audience.
Right.
And that sets the expectation up a little bit more. So maybe we can do that very quickly. Let's just assume that a tuition center comes and they would like to reach out to students' parents students of age group, maybe in primary school, say for example 11 to 12 years old. So we are assuming that their parents are aged between 40 is a bit but let's just try.
So I just want to take a step back
Right.
on the requirement. So typically, again, we have rightly defined what is the end customer that we want to target.
Right.
Let's say if, for students, again, I would suggest, I would understand that students like between age group up till 15, they mostly be on TikTok or these kind of channels, right?
Right.
But let's say if we're targeting parents, so in that sense, I guess a good interest would be to go for maybe lifestyle or parenting.
Right.
So those would be more relevant kind of the groups.
Right.
So let's say we take parenting, right? Again, you take like multiple subcategories, and then you can define the audience age group, okay, above 33 to 46, 45,
Mm-hmm.
right? And based on that, you have like around 37 influencers. Now again, with Jian Hao,
Yes.
he is doing because he has a very good appeal among students or like among youngsters and like similar kind of content. So yeah, based on that, you can just go through the different profiles.
Right. So let's just uncheck. Let's see the results for 40 to 46. So uncheck the 33 to 39. Let's just see what comes out. So if, let's say, they would like to reach out to a particular group, and maybe from 100,000 to a million.
So there are around 830 influencers.
5 influencers in this group. So these are influencers who have targeted followers of that interest of parenting, and also in that age group. Right. So
And
what are some of the other things that we can say? For example, another case study. Let's take a beauty brand who wants to reach out to working adults, right?
So maybe directly what you can go for is interest like beauty, and as well as maybe fashion, lifestyle is something. A lot of insurance brands that are exploring influencer marketing, they are going after interest areas like fashion and lifestyle, because they want to know, okay, these are the people in above 25 to 40 age group who are working class. They have like this extra income, and like who are now planning families, who would be considering these insurance premiums and everything. So those are the things where so for beauty related requirements, beauty, maybe lifestyle, then you have this filter where you can choose, okay, we want influencers working on both beauty and lifestyle category. So you have like 123 influencers in the intersection of beauty and lifestyle, or you can decide to just choose an or and have all the results in that segment.
Right, so there will be more results because it's all.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And these are basically, I think, for us to decide better and to know what are the targeted audience within this age group, so that we have a better expectation of what we are going to get, instead of just looking at the numbers that's open to everyone to see, right?
Correct. And one more very useful hack, you can say, to find the relevant influencers through brands. So if you can go for similar brands, right? Let's say if you are a shoe company, you want to look for Adidas, like which are the influencers who are posting about Adidas and what kind of content they are posting in that sense, right? So that again is a one more way how you can find different influencers, most relevant ones.
Yeah, so if I'm a competitor of if I'm a competitor of Adidas, and I would like to understand who has been posting about Adidas, is it? Or as a brand Adidas, actually I can look for influencers who are already posting organically about Adidas and work with them.
Both actually.
Yeah.
So, but even if you're a competitor, or even if you're a
brand looking,
right? And you are looking for influencers in there, and since Adidas is doing it for years, so definitely a good starting point would be to just see and understand what kind of influencers work for them,
right?
And you can understand more about the persona,
right?
And then basically see, okay, what kind of search filters that you can use going forward.
Right. So let's look at SGAG then. I think I'm surprised SGAG worked with Adidas. Probably came up with something funny about Adidas.
I guess they are working with a lot of government agencies as well.
Yeah, they do a lot of government projects, and it'd be good to.
Yeah, so you just go there, type Adidas, and actually they did the sponsor.
Oh, a year ago.
Yeah. So it's a meme, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're promoting a. That's an interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was Adidas. You can also look at other
brands that they work with.
MPA Singapore Maritime.
Right.
This is very recent. Health Promotion Board. I guess they're doing a lot with Health Promotion Board.
Yeah, a lot of government agencies actually. HPB, I think GovSG. Yeah, quite a number.
For Nivea Singapore, like just 15 days back, they posted this as a sponsored content.
Yeah, they are really good at curating contents. I must say. I think among the other brands, their content is one of the best. But I think it comes with a price as well.
And that's what I'm saying, like re-emphasizing on that part where content is very, very crucial. So if I have to order, like how the criteria, how do you choose any influencer? So basically it definitely should be content, their relevance to that content of what you are looking for.
Yeah.
And then their audience.
Right.
Like the kind of quality of audience and demographics of audience.
Yeah.
These are all the top 3 things that anybody should look for.
Yes. And maybe if we can scroll down and see what are their... So this is also organic growth that we are looking at, and their engagement is pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent, yeah.
Right.
And that makes sense, like since they are having very good content.
Yes.
So in general, like they have very good engagement numbers, and it is evident from here as well. The
Yes.
per post they are getting around 23,000 likes.
Right.
And very, very high quality audience.
Yes.
So maybe let's say if you are spending your marketing budget, then maybe SGAG would be one of the top influencers.
Yeah, that they can consider working with, and I think many brands have worked with them, although they they are more of an entertainment. They started off entertaining, and it just took off. I think they managed to become a media company, and a lot of people trust them, and therefore government agencies also work with them. So I think that's a big signal to working with this.
Right. And the best part is they are not bound within one category now.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's quite
mixed. It's quite mixed. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yes. Another feature that Affable has is when they want to capture stories, right? They would like to understand brands that have done stories that only appears for 24 hours, and they can do that with your platform.
Yeah, sure. So again, maybe I'll just define a case. Let's say a brand is promoting a new product, right? And maybe they have a launch event, right, where they have invited people from social media and maybe a group of influencers. Let's have like 200 or 500 people in their attendees.
Right.
Now, after the event, how would they track all the stories posted? Because again, limitation with stories, they are only available for 24 hours.
Yes.
Now, and you don't know like if they'll be posting it tomorrow or maybe 3 days after the event.
Right.
So how do you track that? So we have this where you can like put in all those usernames of the attendees. Then you can track those stories based on the hashtag or maybe your brand mention. And then you can schedule this report for maybe next 10 days for 4 p.m. for example. And what the system will do is automatically it will capture a story every day at 4 p.m. For all the stories posted in the last 24 hours. It will take a snapshot and it will basically send you an email with that story. So at the end of the 10th day, you will have a repository of all the stories posted in last 10 days.
So the story is sent after 10 days have ended?
No. So on a daily basis, we'll send you the stories.
Right.
And that report you'll get on a daily basis. If you see for L'Oréal Paris, so this was posted on 14 November 2019. And you see all the stories with that snapshots and who has posted, and you can see what kind of content is being promoted.
Right. This is a really good tool, especially if you're, we can't host events now, but if you're ever hosting an event or a launch and you have invited a group, like big group of influencers, and you like to see what they have posted in their stories, this is a good way to generate that report.
It basically saves you a lot of time.
Yes, it does, definitely. Rather than looking through their stories day in and out. So they get, to clarify, they get a daily story reported, and they get a summarized story at the end of 10 days or whatever timeline that they have stated.
Yeah, so they get that, and also what we are rolling out very soon would be like you can also get some kind of data around the reach of the stories, or maybe a calculation around earned media value. So all of these things that we are working on, and very soon we'll be rolling out.
Right, and I'm sure once you roll it out, we would also like to share it with our friends, our followers on social media, and also on YouTube and Facebook. So I think just another clarification on this one. So on Affable itself, what is the maximum time frame, and am I able to generate stories that have passed? That wouldn't be possible, right? The stories that have passed.
No. So again,
it must be from today onwards, and for a period of time. And is there a maximum time?
There's no limit on that. So you can get story reports for next 2 months daily.
Right.
That's also possible.
Right. And it comes in your email in a PDF format.
Yes.
All right. I think this is a really good tool, and big brands out there who have budgets and they're looking at working with brands, influencers, and asking them to post on their stories as well. This is a really good tool within Affable that they can leverage on.
Exactly. And I guess a lot of our customers are using it very thoroughly because again, fashion brands, they are having the launch events. They have these fashion shows where they want to track different stories being posted, different content being posted. for their particular brand, for their particular product. It helps them to do that like with just a couple of clicks.
Right. So if we go back to Affable's platform, we are able to do based on the search for stories based on the usernames and the period of time, the stories that they are posting. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So we can also include hashtags that they mention.
So basically, we can track all the stories of all the usernames that you have given.
Right.
But if you just want to filter out based on the content which is relevant for your particular product,
right?
So you can put in a hashtag, mentions.
And this would probably be like social listening, right? Hi Eepsit.
Hi.
Sorry, I think the call dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to the part where we are talking. Yeah, so basically this is more for social listening, right? If I would like to see what are some of the brands that have, what are some of the influencers or people accounts that have mentioned my hashtag.
In a way, we can say that, but it is only like specifically targeted towards capturing
stories,
brands' data. Yeah.
Stories, right? Just purely stories. And let's say I just want to track hashtags. I don't know the influencer's name. I can put my brand hashtags in and have the stories generated.
That is something we are not supporting at the moment.
Okay, I see. Right.
Yeah, because even Instagram that doesn't provides all the data, all the stories with that hashtag.
Right.
So there's some kind of limitation on that.
Right. So the crucial must have are the influencer usernames.
Yes, influencer username is a must.
Okay. Anything else is a must on this feature here?
No, I guess only influencer username and to the period that you want to define it. If you don't mention any hashtag or username, so the system will basically capture all the stories posted by all those influencers. But again, that would be a lot of clutter for you.
Right.
So maybe just specify what kind of content or hashtag you are looking for.
Right. Okay. Right. So that's really good. What about the campaign reports? Is there anything that they are able to use and report on a daily basis for campaign reports?
Even before, I just wanted to cover this content discovery part.
Yeah.
Where so we just looked at how we can track stories.
Yeah.
Now, how you can track content based for any particular brand? So let's say we are looking for hashtag Adidas. Continuing from our example, or maybe let's say hashtag Nike, right? So these are the two brands.
Yeah.
Now, all the posts which have both of these hashtags in them in last 1 year, so the system has just populated that. So you see 63 posts having both hashtag Adidas and hashtag Nike in Singapore in last 1 year, and then you can also put in an or. So now there are 1700 posts. Now you can have this narrow down your scope of search for last 2 months, and then again 230 plus posts. So based on hashtags, if you remove it based on brands, so let's say for Adidas, in last 2 months in Singapore there are 225 posts, influencer posts. Then you can also search based on any keyword. So let's say I'm searching for beauty. Again, this is just a keyword search.
Right.
There are 2,400 or around 2.5k posts in last 2 months in Singapore with beauty as a keyword. Right. Or you can search based on different interests. So maybe I'm looking for, let's say, right. So this is not a defined interest, but you can again search based on keyword, and the system will actually find ice cream related post. We also have very strong image recognition algorithm, so we actually identify objects from the images. So in that sense also you can see a lot of ice cream pictures.
Right.
So this is how you capture the content. And if you want to generate report for any content, so for example these are some of the posts that are part of your campaign, for example. Right. Just click on that. You can export them and generate that report in an Excel for those particular posts, or you can generate a thorough report as a campaign. Give it a name, for example, sample 1, and click on generate report, and the system will within 10 minutes you'll have a report. If you want to have a quick look into a sample report, it will look like this, where you have these 8 influencers taking part into the campaign. Overall performance of the campaign in terms of likes, comments, engagement, demographics. So 44% of the engagement came from Singapore, then Malaysia, 29%, demographic, age and gender based, and then for each individual post, how you can like see, okay, out of these 500 likes that he got, 72% came from males, 41% came from Singapore, and the age distribution.
Right.
This basically gives you a thorough idea of like how your campaign is performing and how each individual influencer is performing.
Right. And basically, this is a report where either from the company itself, that say for example, this is Studio company engaging this influencers directly, they can actually present it to their team, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're an agency and you need to come up with like a report of influencers that you have worked with, this would come in very handy.
Actually, a number of our agency partners, they are using this particular feature to prepare their pitches.
Right.
So basically, they whenever they're like doing a new pitch, they basically just generate these kind of reports for the brand. Like take this data for them and like suggest the scope of improvements and define new strategies for their pitch or their work.
Right. So they also use that to kind of help to do a bit of strategy and consulting.
Exactly.
As they propose, as the agencies propose new methods or new strategies, marketing campaign strategies with either existing or new influencers, right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for spending so much time to walk us through and share with us what Affable does. And we will have a link in the description below that will drive them through Affable's landing page to kind of get the free trial if they'd like to try this out for 3 days. And this is something that I think currently Affable would like to actually extend out for people who are actually finding out about Affable through Sky Digital Agency's social media channels from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I think it has been a useful walkthrough to understand what Affable does and how they can make better decisions as they either want to find out a group of influencers that they can work with, whether or not micro or macro, and what are some of the key insights and indications to let them know whether or not it will have a good engagement, and to manage their expectations rather better, rather than just looking at wholesale the total number of followers that each of these influencers have.
Right. And also, like just to add to that, we as a company, we are running some discounts at the moment,
Right.
so that the new brands like who want to try it out, they can just get on board. Our team is there to support them onboarding and maybe like set up their trial accounts.
And I understand that Affable is also open to taking in new requirements, and even though the dashboard may not have these reports, you would gladly assist your customers as they inquire about those data to generate a report for them, and as you work on new features as well that you have mentioned as well earlier.
Yeah, we do time and again, like we cater different customer queries. Because on the back end we have a lot of data, it is not always feasible to put everything on the dashboard.
Right.
So very specific queries we do solve with the brand, whichever is within our scope of work. But yeah, we are always happy to work closely with the marketing teams and help in any which ways possible.
Thank you so much for taking your time to walk us through Eepsit. And I hope that this will help whoever who's watching understand what Affable does and how they can better use tools that are available to help them decide on their social media campaigns moving forward. And I think if they have any questions at all, they can feel free to just comment below. We'll reach out again, and if we need to, we'll arrange for another call to walk them through maybe certain features, or even just address whether or not the features are currently available on Affable. So I understand that Affable also tracks Facebook and YouTube. So we'll try to arrange for another call to walk us through Facebook and YouTube for people who are interested, right? So those who are interested, they can drop a comment, and if there are enough interest, I think we can walk people through what Affable can track and what are some of the key metrics to look out for when we are deciding to work with YouTube influencers. I think for our ASEAN neighbors in Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, I think Facebook is still big in these countries. So if there's enough interest, I think we could arrange for another call to walk them through what Affable tracks and can give the insights to these different platforms.
Definitely, and happy to walk through that as well. So yeah, look forward to the responses.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eepsit.
Thanks so much, Shaman, for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking us through Affable, and I believe that this is a really helpful platform that a lot of people would also get an understanding as they decide whether or not to, reach out and also maybe get in touch with Affable team on your platform. So thank you once again. I look forward to our next call about YouTube and Facebook, that insights that Affable has and gives, so that other people that are wondering about what these tools can tell them would be able to find out more about your tool, your AI tool, right? This is yeah. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you again, Eepsit.
Thanks so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.